This truth will destroy the character you created. Yes, I am not here to decorate your personality. I am here to dissolve it. And this will hurt, because everything you call yourself is only a construction, a mask made of fear, desire, and memory. You have lived so long wearing it that you forgot your real face underneath. People come to me asking, "Osho, how can I find peace?" And I tell them, first, you must die. Not physically, but psychologically. You must die to the image you worship as me. The character you play is not who you are, it is a performance. You created it to survive in a mad world, to be accepted, to be loved. But now that same character has become your prison. Detachment is not about leaving things. It is about leaving the one who clings. The house, the job, the lover, the identity, these are not the problem. The problem is you, the clinger, the one who says mine. The ego survives through attachment. It feeds on it. Every time you say my idea, my belief, my pain, the ego grows stronger. You have never met yourself. You have only met your reflection in the eyes of others. You live in the opinions of the crowd. They define your success, your failure, your worth. You have become a beggar, constantly asking the world, "Who am I?" And the world, blind, unconscious, keeps giving you labels. Intelligent, stupid, beautiful, ugly, sinner, saint. And you accept them all, decorating your prison cell with the names they give you. The truth I speak of will destroy that decoration. It will strip you naked, without masks, without stories. You will be left with nothing to hold on to, and only then will you be free. People are terrified of emptiness. They think if they let go of what they have built, they will disappear. But what disappears is not you. What disappears is the lie. The real cannot die. The false must. And you are clinging to the false as if it were your oxygen. You protect your illusions because they give you an identity. You say, "This is my religion, my country, my family, my opinion," and I say, "These are not yours, these are borrowed." You are living a second-hand life. The greatest fear is to be no one. That is why people cling to being somebody, even if that somebody is miserable. Misery is better than nothingness. Pain is better than silence. To be someone, even a suffering one, gives the illusion of existence. But real existence begins only when the false someone disappears. Detach yourself not from the world, but from the self that believes it owns the world. When I say, be detached, I am not telling you to renounce life. I am telling you to renounce the dream, to renounce the dreamer. The dream is beautiful, but only when you know it is a dream. When you start calling the dream reality, suffering begins. You see, you have not lived yet. You have only dreamed of living. You have not loved yet. You have only imagined love. You have not died yet. You have only feared death. The whole game happens inside the character, inside the fiction, and I am inviting you to step out of it, to see it from the outside. When you start observing yourself, a strange thing happens. The observer is not the character. The observer is not attached. The observer is free. Watch your anger, your jealousy, your pride, and you will notice they belong to the personality, not to your being. You are not the storm. You are the sky in which the storm passes. The sky never fights the clouds. It simply allows them. Detachment is not coldness. It is not indifference. It is the deepest form of love, because only when you are not attached can you truly love. Attachment is always rooted in fear. You love because you are afraid to be alone. You hold because you fear to lose. That is not love, that is possession. True love has no object, and it is a fragrance, not a chain. And yes, this truth will destroy the character you created, but in that destruction, you will find creation. Out of the ashes of your false self, something real will be born. You cannot imagine it because imagination belongs to the mind, and the mind can only project from the past. What I am speaking of is beyond imagination. It is like a flame hidden inside you. You have covered it with masks, identities, attachments, but it is still burning, silently waiting for you to stop pretending. The moment you dare to look beyond the mask, you will feel it. You will realize you have never lost yourself. You have only been asleep. And when you wake up, when the illusion cracks, there will be laughter, not of madness, but of release. You will laugh because you will see how seriously you took the game. You will laugh at your own funeral because the one who dies was never alive. This is what I mean when I say, this truth will destroy the character you created. It is a compassionate destruction, a fire that burns only what is false. It leaves you untouched, pure, weightless. When I tell you to drop attachment, you immediately ask, but how? That how is your trick to postpone. You don't really want to drop it. You want a method that lets you keep it, politely, intelligently, spiritually. You want a way to remain the same while pretending to change. That's why you love techniques, meditations, rituals. They give you the illusion of progress without threatening your identity. But detachment is not something you do. It is something that happens when you see. When you see clearly that what you hold is burning your hands, you let go naturally. No method is needed. You do not ask, how should I stop touching fire? You stop because you see it burns. The question how belongs to blindness. The moment of seeing is the moment of freedom. You hold on to pain because it gives you a sense of being. You say, this is my wound, and you polish it, protect it, display it. Without it, who would you be? You need your story, your suffering, your struggles, your achievements. But have you noticed? Every story is about the past. You are carrying a corpse and calling it your life. The past is a weight that keeps you from flying. The mind lives there, constantly feeding on memory. It repeats the same words, the same emotions, the same reactions. That is why you meet the same people in different faces, the same conflicts in different situations. The mind repeats because repetition gives it stability. But life is never repetitive. Only the dead repeat. To be detached means to stop identifying with this repetition, to stop saying, this is me. You are not the voice in your head. You are the silence behind it. You are not the one who thinks. You are the space in which thinking happens. This is the discovery that changes everything. When you understand this, even for a single moment, you taste freedom. Then you can enjoy life without clinging to it. You can love without fear, act without obsession, die without resistance. Detachment does not make you passive. It makes you alive, because when you are not attached, you are not divided. Your energy is whole, fluid, spontaneous. But remember, detachment is not a practice against life. It is a love for truth. The more you love truth, the less you can cling to illusions. You don't have to renounce anything. You only have to see. Seeing is renunciation. When I was young, I used to watch a butterfly trapped inside a glass bottle. It would beat its wings again and again, desperately trying to escape. Finally, when it gave up, I opened the lid, but it didn't fly away. It stayed inside the bottle because it no longer trusted freedom. You are that butterfly. You have been trapped for so long that you no longer trust openness. You have become comfortable in the cage. It feels safe. Freedom feels dangerous because it has no walls, no directions, no guarantees. Your character, the one you have created, is that bottle. You have decorated it beautifully. You have painted it with morality, success, spirituality. But no matter how transparent the glass is, it is still a prison. And the truth I speak of will shatter it. That is why people are afraid of awakening. They sense the explosion coming. They sense that everything familiar will vanish. And yet, only through that vanishing can you know who you are. The one who clings cannot discover. The one who clings is always repeating the known. Discovery happens only in the unknown, and the unknown begins the moment you stop being somebody. I am not telling you to become detached from your wife, your husband, your children. I am saying be detached from the idea that they belong to you. They are not your possessions. They are souls traveling beside you for a while. You can love them deeply, more deeply than ever before, when you are not their owner. Love becomes divine when there is no possession. Otherwise, it is only a transaction, a market exchange disguised as affection. You give something to get something back, security, attention, comfort, and then you call that love. This is the love of the marketplace, not the love of the heart. A detached person loves without condition, because there is no fear of loss. He knows that what is real cannot be lost. He knows that the other is free just as he is free, and in that freedom there is joy, not dependency, not need, but joy. When you are detached, life becomes play. You can fully participate, but you don't mistake the game for reality. You laugh, you cry, you dance, you act, but deep down you know it's a dream. That awareness changes everything. It turns even pain into beauty, even death into celebration. But the ego doesn't want to play, it wants to win. It wants to be right, to be admired, to be special. The ego cannot play because play means surrender, spontaneity, uncertainty. And uncertainty is the death of the ego. That is why you are tense. You are constantly protecting your imaginary center. The secret of detachment is this: stop protecting what is not real. You cannot lose what you truly are, so what are you afraid of? Lose everything false and see what remains. When I speak of losing everything false, people tremble. You tremble because you suspect that everything you call myself may be false. You have invested your entire life in this construction. Your name, your education, your beliefs, your reputation. You have built a monument around a shadow, and now I am asking you to see that it is only smoke. Naturally, the mind resists. The mind says, if I drop all this, what will remain of me? The answer is simple: you will remain, but not the you that you think you are, not the actor, but the awareness that watches the play. This awareness has no past, no future, no identity. It is pure presence, and this presence is the essence of detachment. Look at your attachments one by one. You are attached to your thoughts, but they come and go. You are attached to your emotions, but they change like the weather. You are attached to your body, but it is constantly dying cell by cell, moment by moment. You are attached to your image, but it depends on the opinion of others. Tell me then, what is truly yours? If you are honest, you will see. Nothing belongs to you. Even your breath is borrowed. Life is a gift, not a possession, and yet you walk as if you own it. You clutch at everything because you are afraid of disappearing. But this fear itself proves that you have not met the real. The real cannot disappear. To live in detachment means to live without fear. Fear exists only because you are holding on to something that can be taken away. Money, status, relationships, opinions, they can all vanish in a moment. And when they do, you suffer, because your identity was tied to them. You never built your house on the rock of being. You built it on the sand of becoming. People ask me, Osho, what should I do to let go? I say, stop doing. The doer is the problem. The very one who wants to let go is the one who holds on. Detachment begins when the doer drops. When you simply watch, without trying to control, without judging, without interfering, the false starts dissolving by itself. One day you will see it happening, not as an effort but as a flowering. Suddenly you will feel light, as if a great burden has been removed. You will laugh because you will realize that you were carrying stones, thinking they were treasures. The more you drop, the richer you become. The paradox of detachment is that only when you stop possessing can you truly enjoy. The one who clings cannot dance. He is too afraid of losing balance. The one who lets go can dance even on the edge of the abyss. When you are detached, you are not indifferent. You are intensely alive. You can taste life in its totality because nothing blocks your sensitivity. The attached person lives half asleep, numbed by fear and desire. He cannot see what is before him because he is always looking for what is next. Detachment brings you back to this moment, and only this moment is real. Do not misunderstand me. Detachment is not renunciation of pleasure. It is the renunciation of bondage. You can enjoy food, but you don't become obsessed. You can love, but you don't demand. You can succeed, but you don't depend on success for your worth. Detachment means freedom within involvement. You can be fully engaged in the world, yet untouched by it, like a lotus flower in muddy water. Have you noticed the lotus? It grows in the mud, but the mud cannot stain it. The droplets of water roll off its petals, leaving it pure. That is the image of true detachment. Not escape, not withdrawal, but purity amidst participation. The detached man lives in the world, but the world does not live in him. He moves through experiences like the wind through the trees, touching everything, clinging to nothing. He knows that everything passes, and because he knows it, he can celebrate it. Life is a river. The fool builds his house on its banks and calls it home. The wise man flows with it, dancing from one shore to another, knowing there are no shores, only movement. Once you taste this freedom, you will never trade it for security again. The secure life is a dead life. Only the insecure live. Only those who are ready to lose everything can discover that nothing is ever lost. Detachment does not mean that you stop feeling. It means your feelings are no longer poisoned by ownership. You can cry without bitterness, love without fear, fail without self-condemnation. You can say goodbye without dying inside, because you know that what you are saying goodbye to is only a form. The essence remains. And that essence, that silent witness, is you. That is what survives when the character you created collapses. The world may call it destruction, but you will know it as liberation. When you begin to live in detachment, the world around you starts to panic. They will say, "You have changed." Of course you have, that you are no longer playing the game. Their comfort depends on your participation in the illusion. When you step out of the drama, you disturb the stage. You threaten their sleep. The moment you become aware, unconscious people feel betrayed. They will call you cold, distant, selfish. They will say, "You don't care anymore." But understand this. When you are detached, you care more deeply than ever before. You just don't cling. You love people, but you do not need them to complete you. You see their freedom and you respect it. You no longer project your emptiness onto them. This is why detached love is dangerous to society. It cannot be controlled. A person who does not depend on others cannot be manipulated. Society thrives on attachment. The politician needs you to be attached to the nation. The priest needs you to be attached to the religion. The market needs you to be attached to consumption. Your misery is profitable. Your dependency is power for someone else. If you drop attachment, you drop the whole structure of exploitation. That is why detachment has always been feared. It creates rebels. Look at Jesus, at Buddha, at all those who became detached. They were dangerous people, not because they fought with swords, but because they stopped belonging. They were in the world, yet not of it. You cannot enslave a man who has nothing to lose. You cannot seduce him with promises, because he already lives in the ultimate fulfillment. You cannot threaten him with death, because he has already died to the false. This is the beauty of detachment. It is the death of fear. And when fear dies, love is born. When fear dies, creativity is born. When fear dies, laughter becomes possible. The whole world changes because you change. And remember, detachment is not an act of will. You cannot force it. The more you try, the more the ego sneaks in. The ego says, "Look how detached I am." But that very claim proves attachment to detachment. The real thing happens silently, without announcement. You simply see through the game, and the game loses its power. I often tell my people, meditate but not to become spiritual. Meditate to become aware. Awareness is the flame that burns all attachments. When you are aware, you cannot be deceived. When you are aware, everything false drops by itself, just as darkness disappears when you light a candle. Sit silently, do nothing, just watch. Thoughts will come, emotions will rise, desires will whisper. Let them pass. Don't fight, don't follow, just watch. Slowly the watcher becomes clearer, stronger, more luminous. And one day you realize that the watcher is all there is. Everything else was a dream. This realization is what I call the death of the character. The actor vanishes, and only awareness remains. The stage is still there, the world continues, but you are no longer the actor. You are the witness. You still play roles, husband, wife, friend, teacher, but now you play them consciously. You wear the mask when needed and you remove it when not. The mask no longer wears you. The world thinks detachment makes you lonely. I tell you, it makes you whole. Loneliness is the absence of the other. Aloneness is the presence of yourself. When you are detached, you discover aloneness. A deep, silent joy that has nothing to do with anyone or anything. It is not isolation. It is intimacy with existence. Have you ever sat by a tree, doing nothing, simply being? In that stillness, you feel the pulse of life in everything. The wind touching your face, the birds singing, the earth breathing beneath you. That is detachment, a communion without demand. You are one with everything because you are no longer separate. The attached mind lives in duality. Me and you, mine and yours, success and failure, life and death. Detachment reveals the oneness behind all opposites. When you are detached, you see that birth and death are two sides of the same door. Gain and loss, praise and blame, all are waves on the same ocean. The ocean remains untouched, and that ocean is what you are. You have always been the ocean, but you were hypnotized by the waves. You mistook the surface movement for your being. Detachment is waking up from that hypnosis. Once you know you are the ocean, you can allow the waves, you can even dance with them, but deep down, you remain still. This is why I say, this truth will destroy the character you created, because that character was a wave pretending to be the sea. It was never real. When you realize this, a great peace descends, not the peace of effort, but the peace of recognition. You are home. You were never lost. You were only dreaming of being lost. You were never bound. You were only clinging to chains made of thought. Detachment does not create freedom. It reveals that you were free from the very beginning. Once you have seen the truth, you cannot unsee it. The illusion may still whisper to you. Memories may still return. The old character may still knock at your door, but something inside has shifted forever. You may still act, you may still laugh, you may still weep, but now everything happens in awareness, as if existence itself is playing through you. The actor is gone, but the play continues. This is the paradox of detachment. Nothing changes, yet everything is transformed. You still walk, eat, work, love, but the center from which all this arises is different. Before, you were the doer, now you are the witness. Before, you were driven by desire, now you are moved by grace. Before you clung to life, now life flows through you effortlessly. People will look at you and not understand. They will ask, "What happened to you?" You will say nothing, because there are no words. Words belong to the mind, and what has happened is beyond the mind. You have tasted something that cannot be explained, Wessam, it can only be lived. The detached one is not against the world, he is simply beyond it. He sees the play, he enjoys the play, but he knows it is a play. He can enter into love fully because he is not afraid of its end. He can dive into pleasure deeply because he does not demand it to stay. He can face death calmly because he knows it is just another doorway. This is what freedom feels like. Not power, not control, but lightness. A sense that nothing can be taken from you because nothing belongs to you. A sense that even if everything disappears, you remain untouched. And once this awareness blossoms, compassion arises naturally. When you are free of attachment, you cannot harm anyone, because you see yourself in everyone. The same consciousness that beats in your heart beats in all beings. To hurt another is to hurt yourself. To love another is to honor the divine within both. That is why detachment is the highest form of love. It is not coldness, it is clarity. It allows love to be pure without the poison of possession. It allows you to give without expecting, to receive without greed, to be with someone without losing yourself. But remember, this truth will destroy the character you created. It will take away your stories, your importance, your masks. It will strip you until only the essential remains. It is not an easy process. The mind will fight, the heart will ache, the old identity will scream for survival. But endure it, trust it, because what is dying is only the false, and what will emerge is the real. You will begin to see that the one who suffered was never you. It was the character. The one who feared was the dreamer, not the dream itself. The one who sought enlightenment was part of the illusion. You were always already whole. It is a strange moment when you first taste this emptiness. It feels like death, and yet it is the beginning of life. The same energy that was trapped in attachment becomes joy, creativity, silence. You no longer seek meaning. Life itself becomes meaning. You no longer seek God. You see God in every breath. Detach and see. That is my message. Not as a command, not as a discipline, but as an invitation. Look into your attachments, not to judge them, but to understand them. Every attachment hides a fear. Face that fear, and it disappears. What remains is freedom. And then suddenly, you are no longer fighting with existence. You flow with it. You become like a leaf floating on a river. No effort, no resistance. The river knows where it is going. You simply trust. This trust is the fragrance of detachment. It is not arrogance, it is surrender. You are no longer saying, "I will live my life." You are saying, "Let life live through me." In that surrender, miracles happen. Creativity blossoms, love deepens, silence flowers. And the greatest miracle of all, you disappear, yet for the first time you truly exist. When the false self dies, the real self is born, not as an individual, but as consciousness itself. That consciousness has no name, no form, no boundary. It is infinite, timeless, unshakable. This is what I call enlightenment, not the achievement of something, but the disappearance of someone. So I tell you again, this truth will destroy the character you created. But don't be afraid. The destruction is divine. It is not the end, it is the beginning. You will lose your identity, but you will find your essence. You will lose your story, but you will find silence. You will lose your fear, but you will find love, and in that love you will laugh. Not the laughter of triumph, but the laughter of awakening. You will laugh because you will realize you were never bound, never broken, never lost. You were the truth all along. So let it happen. Let the false die gracefully. Don't protect it, don't repair it, don't mourn it. Let it burn and watch what rises from the ashes. The phoenix of your being is waiting, radiant, free, eternal. Sit in silence now and feel it, not as an idea, but as a presence. The presence that has always been here, watching, waiting, loving. That presence is you. If these words have touched something in you, let them sink deep. Don't analyze. Feel. Let this silence between the words become your meditation. Let the truth destroy what is unreal, and then simply live, because only now does life truly begin. If this truth resonates within you, share your reflection. Speak, not from the mind, but from the heart. And if this message awakens something silent inside, stay with it. Stay with the silence, and you will know you were never the character. You were always the witness, watching the play of existence unfold.